We are in the editor of the basic website that I built in my last video. Today we're going to do the first thing that I always do when I start a new website, and that is to add the color palette and the fonts. So to do that, we're going to go over to this little teardrop here, and it says Site Design. We're going to click on there, and here's your site themes. So you've got your color theme and your text theme, your page background, which is usually white. If you want a website with a black background, you change all the pages to black here. If you want a website with a white background, you change all the backgrounds here. Those are the two most popular colors. And then the page transitions, that's how it goes from one page to the other, whether it swipes across the screen to go from one page to the other. But most of the time, it goes in and out. This is what the default is, and I rarely change that. So first of all, we're going to go into the color theme, and this is the default, this black and blue and white, and we're going to change that. I'm doing a website store, and it is for a lady who is selling Stanley cups. It's geared towards women. It's pretty. So I'm going to do a millennial pink, gray, white, and black. To do that, I'm just going to literally go to Google, and I'm going to Google. I already did that. I wish you looked earlier. I Googled millennial pink and gray color palette. And you can do this for any color palette on the planet. You can Google, navy blue and cream, or you can Google crazy things like French countryside or fruit colors, or, anything that you can imagine. And you'll come up with, I'd go into the images here, and you'll come up with a ton of color palettes. And that's the easiest way to find a color palette that you like, and you could screenshot them and narrow them down and really choose what you want to use. And you can also, if I click on one of these, I get the hex codes in here on a lot of them. And this is what you need to create your website colors. So we're going to use one of these, and I'm just going to pause you a second, have a look around and choose one. Okay, so this is the palette that I'm going to use. This one right here I found, and I clicked on where it is on this website. Unlike images and fonts, colors are not normally trademarked. So if you see a color and the hex code for that color, you can feel free to use it. This particular site offers color palettes free for download. Most of the palettes you saw in that Google search I just showed would be like that. Going back to here, so we've got two colors. We've got black and white. I don't usually mess with this because usually at some point on the website I'm going to want to use black, I'm going to want to use white. So we're going to go to the accent colors. What I like to have is a color that is pale that I can put black on, and a color that is darker that I can put white on. Like this blue button is dark enough so that if you put the white lettering on it, you can see the lettering. So I'm looking for two things like that. So let's try this pink here. So I'm going to copy that. Go back there. These are hex codes that I'm using to copy the color from the color palette site to my Wix site. And there's that. And then we'll add let's add the light charcoal. The hex code is 6 letters or numbers preceded by the hashtag sign that tells your computer what color to display. And the dark. Then I'm going to add one more pink one. Okay, now I may adjust these as I go along, make them lighter or darker or whatever. This is what I'm going to start working with. And as you can see, it changed that pink here because I changed the blue to the pink. Later on, if I decide I hate these colors and I want to use totally different colors, I want to use blue or I want to use green or yellow or orange or whatever, I can go in here, change the color theme, and it will change everything on the site. So it's easy to change your color palette if you do this first and set it up this way first. If you just randomly start building your site and making things different colors, if you want to change your colors, you can't do this. So do this first. All right, secondly, we're going to do the text theme. Okay, so to create the text theme, we're going to click on this little arrow. it always defaults, first of all, to Helvetica. That's the default on a Wix site. And Helvetica is a fantastic font. It is the most widely used font that there is, and you can certainly leave it there. It's a really business-like looking font. You can actually Google what famous brands use Helvetica and see how popular it is. But we're not going to use that. We're going to start with the heading font. And that is for like this welcome here and the larger, obviously not paragraph, so headings. So if you click down on here, we'll see that it's Helvetica, bold. That's like for everything. So for the sizes and the styles, here are all the choices we have. Now, when you're building the site, you're probably going to use about 3 of these. You're probably going to use the small one here, the heading 6 for paragraph headings, things like that. And then for page headings, you're probably going to use 1 and 2. They've got them very large here, 60 point, 40 point, 38 point down to 25 point. And I'm just going to show you what I do. And I basically set them up the same for every site that I do, and it seems to work size-wise for me. I'm going to go into this little edit, and we're going to change this to the font that we're going to be using for this website, if I can remember which one I chose. Okay, we're going to use this one, E.B. Garamond. 60 is just going to be huge, so I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use, let's see, we'll do 50. We'll change it to 50. Now, when you have a font that's this big, the paragraphs, they get too far apart. So I usually go into the character and line spacing and I take that down so it's a little closer. And that's how close the lines are to each other. That's a little too much there. So these aren't touching right here. And then the character spacing is how far away from each other the letters are. And you don't usually change that too much. We have changed the font, we've changed the font size, I haven't changed the color, it's black, and we've just changed the line spacing, and I'm going to click apply. So see, that changed this welcome, and it changed the logos too, because I had those in the first heading. Then we're going to just go down the line here and change this one. 40 is good. And I'm going to change the character and line spacing a little on here. Again, that's a little too far apart. I like them far apart for paragraphs. I like them a little closer together for the headings, and apply. And then we're getting into the ones we don't use all that much. So I'm just going to change, I'll leave that. Let's do 36. I usually try to space them out. Let's go down to the 6 and we'll go heading number 6. No, I think I'm going to leave that at 22. And this one, I'm going to increase the spacing a little bit. And here, let's see, we're at 27, that's fine. And then I've got one more, so I want to go kind of in between 27 and 36. So we'll do 32. And there we go, and apply. So now all my headings are in the E.B. Garamond, and the biggest one is 50 points. The smallest one is 22 points. And then we're going to go down into the paragraph font. So we're going to customize the paragraph styles. And for the paragraph, I'm going to use a font called Avenir. Avenir is a really popular font. I honestly sometimes get tired of looking at it. I'm going to use Avenir Light. And it's a very clear, very popular font, but it's just a little more delicate looking, a little more feminine looking than Helvetica. So that's why I'm choosing it for here. For the first paragraph, I don't really go much above 18 or even 16. We'll keep it at 18. And then we're going to do line spacing. We're going to do 1.6, so just over 1.5 spaces between the lines, and apply. And then for the second paragraph, we'll go again into Avenir Light. And so I did 18, so I'm going to do 16, which it already is. And I'm going to do the 1.6 and apply. And lastly, I'm going to leave that at 14 and the spacing at 1.6. and apply. Paragraph, I usually have just 2 points. Like this might be 12, 14, 16, or 14, 16, 18. I usually have just 2 points in between each of the paragraphs. Either 12, 14, 16 or 14, 16, 18. Those are usually the sizes I use. And that's it. So we've got our paragraphs and our headings and our fonts and our colors all set up. And you can see this text here changed into the Avenir Light. So if I go into edit text, you can see it's now paragraph 2, Avenir Light. If I change it to paragraph 1, it changes up to the 18. If I change it down to paragraph 3, it changes to the 14. And I'm going to leave it in that too. And for this button, I'm probably going to change the color from the pink into that charcoal gray that we've got. So that is going to be the fonts and the colors. So now that we've got the colors and the fonts set up, I'm going to create a couple of buttons that I can reuse throughout the website. So I got this button up here. And if I go into preview, we'll see what it looks like. It's a black button with white lettering. And if you hover over it, that's what it looks like. And I like that button. We're going to keep that pretty much the same way that it is. So I'm going to click on there and then click on the design of it and go into custom design and click on background fill. And I'm going to make it charcoal. I'm going to make it look kind of like this button down here. And I want to make sure that I go to the border. Okay, there's no border on there. Check what the text is. The text is the Avenir Light, paragraph 2. And when it's hovered, the Avenir Light is, I want it the charcoal color, and I want the border to be the charcoal color too, so that it's all the same. And I realize that's kind of subtle. This color matching is a subtle difference, but honestly, it's details like this that will elevate your website and make it look like it was built by a professional, and it will instill confidence in your visitors and customers. So I'm going to make another button now. So I'm going to take this button, right click on it and duplicate it. And I want to make a pink button. So I'm going to customize this one. And I'm going to make the background fill this pink. And I'm going to make the text charcoal. And then when it's hovered, I'm going to make the background fill the same pink, but I'm going to lighten it a little bit. That's 70%. Oh, close enough. And then I'm going to make the text the charcoal. And we're going to skip over the rest of this button formatting. So when it's hovered, the pink just lightens a bit, and this one is going to stay like this. So those are going to be my 2 buttons. So what I generally do is I create these 2 buttons up here, and then every time I need a button on the website, I copy and paste it someplace else. And so if I wanted a button down in the footer that was just like this button, I just right click on it, copy, go down to the footer and paste it down in there. That way I know they're exactly the same. And the next thing we're going to do is upload some content. When we go into the plus button, I'm going to just go into the plus button. I'm going to click on add image, and I'm just clicking on add image so that I can go into upload images. And I've got upload from computer here. Now, just before we do that, we have got a blank area here, which is where you're going to put all your image files. You can add file folders in here. I could have logos, different products, anything that you want in here. Team members, you could have graphics. What you can also do in here is go into media from Wix, and you can go look through media in here and Google search things like women drinking coffee. I know how to spell coffee, I really do. Oh, it understood me anyway. And say I wanted to look around and kind of save a bunch of pictures that I think I might want to use on my site. Here's a business meeting in a cafe, and see this little button here, it says add to my boards, and you can click on that. And these lists will come up. This is a bunch of boards I have made, like a bulletin board. I could add a new board and create that, and then this would be added to it. If I'm building my site later and thinking about images I might want to use, I can click on my boards and this will be here, and that picture will be in there and I can use it on the website. So you can search through media from Wix, search through Unsplash, search through Shutterstock, but you need to pay for those ones. So I'd stick with media from Wix and Unsplash. There's tons of images in there, and fill up a board so that while you're building the site, you have somewhere to look, kind of a pool of images. So we're going to go back to the site files and let's upload some media. Now I have put all the media for this website in Dropbox. I can upload from my computer, that's easy too, but we're going to go to Dropbox, and here's the folder. Let's go to the product images, and I'm just going to drag my cursor down all over this and upload 38 pictures. And there they go, populating. And they're all there. And then I'm going to put the logos in here. So I'm going to upload media, and we'll go back into Dropbox. And here I'm uploading the logos from Dropbox and putting them in the appropriate file. I'm going to continue creating the structure of the website. Next, we're going to be uploading our logo, or putting the logo on the site. We've already uploaded it. Right now, I just have this text here, and I'm going to go in, right click on that and delete it. And we're going to go into the images where the images were all uploaded, and there are some logos uploaded. This is my client's logo. I did not create this. This is what I was given. If you are a website designer, you'll get handed logos like this, and you have to figure out how to make them work for the site you're working on. So I've got a big square image like this with a white background. So I'm going to go into crop the image, and we're going to get rid of all the extra white space around and I'm just eyeballing this and kind of centering it here, and then click apply. And then we're going to make that a bit smaller, and I'm going to put that up in the upper left hand corner, and then drag this back up because it got super big when I added this image. Then I'm going to take this image, right click on it and copy it, and again I'm going to put it down in the footer. Right click and then paste, and I'll get rid of this, right click and delete, and put this up in the center down here. I'm going to move this up, and I'm going to move these buttons up a little bit. I'm just going to make the header a little narrower and go into preview. So that's what we've got now. So now we've got our logo added. Often when I get content from a client, and you can see up at the top here, I've got a bunch of Dropbox documents open here. I'll dump the content onto the site, meaning I'll just cut and paste the content and stick it on the site. And that way I kind of know that I've got all the content on the site, and I can kind of take it from there. And I'm going to do that on this site just with some text content. I'm going to put her about content on here. We're going to put a strip down on the page, and I'm just going to dump all the about page content. Now, a lot of times people give me about pages, and what I mean is tell me about yourself as the business owner. But oftentimes, as the case is with this one, they tell me about the business. So when I have content like that, generally I use a little bit of it maybe next to the person's picture talking about them, but I'll use it on the homepage a lot of the time. So I'm going to add some text here, and then I'm going to go into this about me doc. I'm going to cut and paste this, copy it, and just put it in here. As you can see, it's just a big lump of text, but at least it's on the site, and I can cut and paste it and move it around and do whatever I want with it, but I know it's on the site now. So on this site, since we're not using the services page, since we're going to be adding a store, and I'm going to use the services page, which is a blank page right now, and that's where I'm going to put the FAQ. First of all, I want to put some kind of header at the top of the page. I don't want to just put an FAQ sitting on the page. So I'm going to add a strip and pull that up a little bit. And I'm going to add a title that's going to say FAQ. So I'm going to add text, and we'll add the number 1 heading on here. I'm going to center it, I think, and we'll add FAQ. And I'm going to center that. I'll put a background picture here and make it look nice, and probably add some animation so this slides in. Here's where you'd see your animation. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm not sure what I want it to look like quite yet. So I'm going to add the FAQ function in here. And to do that, I'm going to go down the side here to add apps. And I'm going to search apps for FAQ. And here's the one I want. I want Wix FAQ. And then it's going to go add to site. Just a little note. When you get on here and you see things like this has a low rating, from my experience, people generally only go and give the apps reviews when they're unhappy about something. I've used the Wix FAQ in so many sites. I think it works really well. So there it is, adding the FAQ. And then I'm going to drag it down here. 2 things. You can manage FAQs, and that's where you actually put in the questions and answers. And then the settings is how this page looks right here. The display show title. Well, I've already got FAQ up here, so I don't need this. So I'm not going to display a title. But you can, just to turn that back on again, you can change what this says here. It doesn't have to be called frequently asked questions. You could use it for, if you had a med spa and you wanted to tell people rules about what they should do prior to coming in, you could say pre-appointment prep, something like that. You can change this. It doesn't have to say frequently asked questions. So I'm going to take that off. And for her site, I'm going to take out the search bar because I don't think she's going to have that many that people are going to need to search things. And there's also the ability to have categories. See, the default here is general and setting up FAQs. Again, she's going to have a few and not that many, but I've had a lot of clients who have so many questions on different aspects of what they sell or what they do. So you can have different categories set up. We're just going to have FAQ only. And you can have it so people can share the FAQs on social media, which I don't feel that she needs to do. Again, you can see that the FAQ, it really works well and it formats perfectly for mobile. I'm not really going to have to do much to this page when I get to the mobile site because this is already going to look nice on that page. So then we've got layout. Just look through here and see what options you have. Design, you can change the background colors and the divider line colors and the fonts and things like that. But since we set up the fonts and the colors already, the app used this site's fonts and colors. That's the advantage of setting up everything first, because then everything you put on the site automatically uses those fonts and colors. So we're going to exit out of here, and then we're going to go into Manage FAQs. And I'm just going to put 2 of them in here right now. I'm going to put her shipping rules and her return policy, which I'm also going to put in the store, but I'm going to have it on this extra page just for an extra place where people can find it. So I'm going to click on the more actions under setting up FAQs, and I'm going to delete that. Let's go into this first one, general, what is an FAQ section. And I'm going to change this to shipping policy. And I'm going to go into the shipping policy that I've got in Dropbox here. And then I'm going to just cut and paste this from Dropbox. I'm just formatting the text now so it looks nice. We offer the following shipping options. Let's make that bold. And there we go, and we'll click save. And then the next one we're gonna do is where it says, why do FAQs matter? We'll use that one for the return policy and just do the same thing. And that's good. And then we're going to delete the last one. As more FAQs come up, and I'll suggest to her that anything that people ask her often, we use in the FAQs. And here's what it's going to look like. I'm going to go into preview. And of course, I'm still going to design this further. I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to put a picture behind here and make this look better. But right now, here's what the FAQ looks like. Shipping policy, return policy. And that's what that looks like. And we'll go back to the editor, and we need to change the name of this page. So I'm going to go over to pages and menu. We're going to go over here to where it says services and click on the little ... or ellipsis as it is called. And we're going to go down to rename, and we're going to change this to FAQ. At the same time, I'm going to go into the ... again, and I'm going to go into SEO basics. Just for one thing. We're not going to do SEO now or anything, but I'm going to go down into here where when I created the page, it automatically gave it that services title. I'm going to change it to FAQ. A lot of times you'll forget to do that. So I'm going to move the FAQ down. So now we've got home, about, FAQ, contact. I'm not sure we're even going to have the about page because probably most of the about is going to go on the home page, and we're going to have shop in here. That's what's going to come second, but we have not added the store yet. So next I'm going to do a little bit of rearranging on the site. We'll snap our fingers and I'll be back and show you what I did. So here's this site in progress, and I just wanted to show you the FAQ page. So we've got different categories for FAQ. We've got her miscellaneous, product information, shipping and delivery, and so on. You can add categories and then have different questions under each of the categories, which is really cool with the FAQ. Her shop has been added in here. There's only one product in it so far because what we're going to do is we're going to perfect the one product and make sure everything's perfect with one product, and then we'll add all the other products. But I'll talk about a store in a different video. She's also got a gift card page here, which is another app that you can add. It's really cool and easy. And she's got her about page, which I won't show, and her contact, which is just a small form on the home page. The next video that I suggest that you watch is this one here that is about sections, strips, and columns. And it will really show you how to build down the pages of the site using different building blocks for the pages that you can put your content on.